Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Noelle and I review and unbox subscription boxes here on my channel, and today I have another book subscription box to share with you. This is one that I am a subscriber of, although in the past, because I am part of their VIP group, occasionally they have sent me boxes for review, but usually it's well after those boxes have been sent out to subscribers. So I usually try to have a 3-month subscription with them, and then when they send out the hints for the upcoming adult titles, I will sometimes skip if I think that it's something that's not to suit my tastes, or if I'm just kind of overwhelmed with my TBR pile. So it is, of course, a Once Upon a Book Club. Their adult boxes are this hot pink color. They always have been. They also have a young adult subscription and a middle grader subscription, and they do all kinds of special limited edition boxes for different holidays and events. Sometimes they will even have special editions of a book made, so that's always kind of a fun thing. But this is one of the OG book subscriptions where, as you are reading along, you will get to a page that has a sticky note that tells you to open the corresponding gifts. They do a really great job in terms of having items made for the box, and of course the packaging that always goes along with the cover of the book, the edition that they have selected, and I have a lot of fun with it. It's definitely gotten me outside of my comfort zone in terms of reading. Sometimes things are a little bit lighter or a little bit more fantastical than I would usually choose for myself, and it's just gotten me into reading and going ahead, and even when I might have normally stopped, going through the whole book because I want to get to the different gifts that are wrapped up for us. So this subscription is $49.99 per month. If you are able to do a longer term subscription, you can save a bit. I do have a referral link and code for you. It's just Noel10, and that will save you 10%. But as always, I will leave all of that information for you in the description box below if you want to check it out. Thank you so much to those of you who have used my referral code or link in the past for this box and any others. It always helps me in terms of continuing to stay subscribed to the boxes that I do pay for. So along with the book, the selected book, and everyone receives the same book for the month, you receive a nice little guide that often has an author's interview inside, as well as discussion questions and read-along dates. So I always think that's kind of a fun inclusion. There's usually a bookmark. So there's like a nice bookmark with a quote on it that says, "You had the power inside you all along. You just had to find it." So it's a great story in that way. Because it is actually based on the Wizard of Oz. It's kind of like a fan fiction. There's definitely some really obvious allusions to it, and then a little more subtlety as well. We also got a nice signed book plate, so I thought that was great. Of course, they've made it so that it matches the cover, this very colorful, lighthearted cover, which was perfect because I needed a little bit of a palette cleanser after the last book box that I reviewed here on the channel, which is a great subscription as well, but sometimes a little bit dark. So those are the things that are always included, as well as a quote card. Same quote here. Of course, we have the blue gingham to harken back to the Wizard of Oz movie, which we all love. And then we even have an author's note on the back. So I'm going to actually read that, as well as the blurb on the back. And then I will read the associated passages that go along with the gifts. And I'll show you all of the packaging and the gifts inside. I will go ahead and tell you right now that I was not as impressed with the quality and the gifts in this particular box than the last Once Upon a Book Club box that I opened. By the way, this was actually the December box, so usually we get our boxes pretty much on time, but obviously it takes me some time to actually read the books. Occasionally I'll do an audiobook version if I'm a little bit behind, but like I said, I was happy to read this one. And you want to read the hard or the tangible one. This is a paperback, because sometimes there's little extra gifts along the way. So let me go ahead and start with the blurb on the back so you can hear what it's all about. It's a very lighthearted tale. If I do get to the passages, there's all kinds of accents going on in the story. So she is actually a writer, and for various reasons, she has been forced to change where she's doing her writing program and her dissertation. So she is actually in Ireland, which is a country that I love. I was in a creative writing program as well, and I would have loved to have studied in Ireland because I definitely have an affinity for that culture and that accent, but I'll do my best with the accents, you guys. It says, a woman learns to follow her own road in New York Times bestselling author Virginia Cantra's heartwarming novel inspired by The Wizard of Oz. Dorothy, or Dee, Gale, is searching for a place to belong. After their globe-trotting mother's death, Dee and her sister Tony settled with Uncle Henry and Aunt Em in Kansas, where Dee attends graduate school. But when Dee's relationship with a faculty member, a best-selling novelist, ends in heartbreak and humiliation, she's caught in a tornado of negative publicity. Unable to face her colleagues or her former lover, Dee applies to the writing program at Trinity College, Dublin. Dee's journey to Ireland leads her to new companions, seemingly brainless Sam Clary, who dropped out of college and now runs a newsagent shop, is charming and hot in a dissolute Irish poet kind of way. Allegedly heartless Tim Woodman, who stiffly refused to take back his ex-fiancée, seems stuck in his past, and fiercely loyal Reedy Cower longs for the courage to tell her parents she wants to teach underprivileged girls rather than work in the family business. In a year of opportunities and change, love and loss, Dee finds the confidence to confront her biggest fears, including her intimidating graduate advisor, who may not be so wicked after all. Faced with a choice that has far-reaching consequences, Dee must apply the lessons she's learned along the way about making a family, finding a home, and recognizing the power that's been inside her all along. So right there from that blurb, which I have to say I didn't actually read ahead of time, now you know all of the characters, right? She has this band of characters. We have Tim is the Tin Man. We have Sam, who is going to be the Scarecrow. And then we have Reedy, who is, I guess, the Cowardly Lion, who has to find courage. And then we have, of course, Dee, who is Dorothy. She's actually named Dorothy in the book, so that's very spot on. But let's go ahead and read the author's note, and then we will get into those gifts. So it says, when I was 7 years old, I discovered a copy of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz on my parents' bookshelves, a Christmas gift from Aunt Hildy to a remote uncle back in 1909. The story passed to my grandmother and my mother and eventually to me. I loved the gilded cover and elaborate illustrations. A kindly children's librarian guided me to and through the rest of the original series, 14 books, an entire shelf, starting with the first book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Hidden away on the floor of my room between the bed and the wall, I imagined myself as Dorothy, armed with nothing but a kind heart and kick-ass shoes, as she's whisked away to another world and must learn to confront her fears. So in this book, Dorothy actually wears boots. All right, so it says, like Dee, I've always loved stories about children on a journey into the magical unknown. When I started writing this book, I couldn't travel outside the United States because of the pandemic, so I pored over maps and catalogs instead, searching for images and newspaper articles about Dublin online. Stuck at home on my computer, the Emerald Isle became my Emerald City, full of wonder and adventure. When I was finally able to visit Ireland last summer, I retraced Dee's footsteps, ducking into bookstores, poking into alleys, and wandering the Trinity College campus. I found my way around Dublin by a combination of memory and instinct, surprised by the thrill of discovery and the shock of coming home around every corner, helped along the way by generous strangers. Look, look, I'd say, grabbing my husband's arm as we walked along the dark waters of the Grand Canal. There's the church that Dee and Tony went to on Christmas, and the bridge is that way. A faculty member told me of the secret entrance to Oscar Wilde's house through the ground floor of the science building. Together, my husband and I drank whiskey at the Duke, hopped the Dart, and recreated the selfie that Dee takes with Tim in front of Malahide Castle. Whether you travel to Ireland like Dee or only visit from your favorite reading chair, that's the feeling I want to share with you. That joy, that escape, that sense of fun, purpose, and adventure with true companions. After the past few years, I think all of us can relate to Dee's feelings of being swept up by circumstances beyond our control, her yearning for a place to belong, and her desire to protect the people she loves. I hope her story makes you fall a little in love with Dee, with her friends, and with Ireland. Enjoy the journey, and may you find the power that's been inside you all along. So, like I said, feel good story, right? All right, so I'm going to give you an example of something that they do occasionally, which is little extra gifts to bring the story to life. For example, this is a little note, a little a note from Glenda, the mother, that says, I, Glenda Norton, give Dorothy Gale permission to pick up my children from school today. Oh, this is actually not, that is something that her mother would have done. Sorry, her mother, the artist, who is no longer with us. But Glenda is someone who works in administration in the program that she is in. They're not like the most welcoming, because the professor that she was supposed to work with, who liked her work, actually, unfortunately, dies before she arrives. So So Glenda is someone who takes her in to sort of be an au pair because she needs somewhere to live. And so the way she gets that job is that Glenda Norton, actually, Glinda, right? She's one of the witches. And of course, her advisor is the other witch, the Wicked Witch, Ward. But Glenda, instead of Glinda, gives her a permission note to pick up the children. So that's like an example of just a little extra that didn't have a real gift. And then on page 98, that's our first actual one. Let me see if I can get through this. I always have like an extra passage that I have kind of marked so that I could read it to you, so you get a little bit more about the meat of the story, because the excerpts aren't always like very much about the storyline itself, but I never get around to it because I try to keep these videos around 20 minutes, but I think it was worth it to read that author's note. So here's an example of one of the little sticky notes that is along the bottom as you go through it. This is with Tim, who's the kind of stuffy Englishman who is there studying at Trinity as well, and it winds up being the neighbor of her friend. I'll do my best with, like I said, with the accents, but it is also a romance as well as a finding your own inner power story. So he likes to watch Great British Bake Off and actually make different recipes from it. So of course I love this guy already. It says, after 20 minutes, I set my empty wine glass on the table, more relaxed than I'd felt in ages. My elbow felt not fine, but not bad. There was no reason for me to stay. I set the peas, still wrapped in the towel, on the coffee table. I should go. You'll miss the next episode, but it's the dessert round. I settled back on the couch. Can't miss dessert. He refilled my glass. A good philosophy. A joke, I smiled. Plus, it's anyone's game now. So we open up page 98. It's got some tornadoes there. So yes, she does kind of wind up there because of a tornado of scandal, because her ex, the professor, has written a novel and not really sort of masked her identity. So it's Destiny Gale instead of Dorothy Gale in the story. So we got a tea towel. Well, it's a kitchen towel. It's linen cotton. It is 16 by 24. It's a yellow brick road. There's no place like home. Honestly, it's cute if you love The Wizard of Oz, but I don't know. It's very yellow. If you have a nice bright yellow kitchen, like maybe, I don't know. It just wasn't really like my thing, but it's a cute little item that they had made for the book. All right, let's move on to the next one, which is on page 215. Now this one I don't think, for me, it didn't really it wasn't like an emblem of the story. At least the No Place Like Home is kind of like a nice sentiment in terms of like a kitchen item that you could have. This one for me was like not a big winner. Sometimes we get a bigger sticky note. Let's see. Oh, now she's talking to Sam, who she has a little bit of a fight with, and I think this is actually in the midst of the fight. So let's see. The difference is you can pretend easy enough to make believe your mother loves you when she's never around. I lived with my father's disapproval every day. Oh, Sam, my chest ached for him, for the boy he had been, for the man he'd made himself. I wanted to go back in time and hug him, but I wanted to hurt him too, because he hurt me. I never knew your dad, but I've met your family. They love you. They're proud of you. I'm not making that up. Up went the eyebrow. Aren't you full of giggles and rainbows today? And you're full of shit. You go on doing the same thing too, day after day, year after year. You know things won't ever be any different, and you don't even try to change. He scowled. I think we're done here. I dug frantically in my bag for my wallet. Oh, we're done. Shaking, I pulled out money for my tea, slapped the bills on the counter, and walked away. So she meets this very nice guy, super cute, hot, like Irish writer that works in his family's business, like a coffee shop. And he actually was at Trinity and had to drop out when his father passed away. And of course, he has to find his journey back to that writing world again as well. But we get this gift. So again, forgive all of my accents, I know they're very amorphous. So we get a little wallet, and of course it's got some ruby red slippers and tornadoes on it, so just a little nod. It's just a little, pleather wallet. It's cute. Inside, it's just like one of these accordion wallets, so really it's mostly a card holder. You can't actually put change in there because there's a little hole, so things would fall out. But inside, I thought this was kind of cute. They have Dorothy Marie Gale. And of course she's got the classic look like Judy Garland from the movie, but it was cute. It's just a little coin purse that you could put in something. It's a little nod to it. Honestly, I thought it was kind of funny that we've got the tornadoes and the red shoes, because obviously those are not in this book, even though there are lots of similarities and allusions to the original. Let me know in the comments if you have ever read any of the actual books, or if you just know the movie like the rest of us. All right, let's keep going. We have 2 more gifts. This is the gift that I was a little bit disappointed by, and that could just be I'm a little bit biased as a subscription box reviewer because it's something that we get a lot of, so I'm really picky when it comes to it. So we didn't get any more gifts until the very end. In 312 is where we are now. So things have all kind of started to resolve. She has actually chosen the guy that she wants to hang out with, even though she's only in a 1-year program. So what are we going to do? So she's back at the coffee shop or the newsstand, and this is Dorothy again, or Dee. I'm just feeling overwhelmed. Busy, I said. I have a 5,000-word essay due next Thursday, and I'm supposed to turn in a big chunk of my portfolio for critique. Things to look forward to, Sam said. Our eyes met. He smiled lopsidedly. Better get to it then, Jeanette said. She poured my tea into the to-go cup. You can take this with you. So I believe that's his sister. So here we go. Is our next one. So of course we have like that Emerald City sort of vibe going on with the gold dots. And we got this enormous tumbler. I'm just kind of over, personally, drinkware in boxes. Unless it's a really cool mug or beautiful like wine glasses and it comes in a set. You know, mule mugs are nice, but like the plastic tumblers, I just have so many of them. I just don't need any more of them, especially like a plastic one that's not even like, you know, a double walled insulated metal one. It's cute. It says there's no place like home. It is dishwasher safe. It has that same quote, you've always had the power, my dear. You just had to learn for yourself, kind of written in a like, you know, iridescent script here. It is huge. It is textured, so it kind of sparkles. It's got a big straw. Just not that exciting to me, like, and not like the best quality, honestly. It's enormous if you really just need that giant tumbler, but this was like not a winner for me. I would have rather had like a nice coffee mug or like a smaller one or one of those like recycled materials ones. I don't know, just didn't seem like a good gift to me. And then our final one was on page 351, so all the way towards the end, I believe 351. Let me see if I can find it. All right, and we have the biggest gift. That's why my pink box was a little bit wonky, because they really just had to stuff everything into the box, so it didn't really close. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so now she's actually gone back home to Kansas. Her sister has visited and gone off to New York, and let's see what she could say. I don't know if she is home. All right, so she says, so of course, Judy is Dorothy's mom, the artist. You should get that one framed, Em said. That's her aunt. I traced the features of my famous mother's face, the dark, expressive eyes Tony had inherited, the widow's peak I saw in the mirror, that irrepressible hair. Did you ever resent her? I asked suddenly. Judy? Em snorted. How could I? She gave me you. Which... My eyes welled and overflowed. All my life, I'd figured there must be something wrong, something missing in me, some secret flaw even a mother couldn't love. But I had been loved all along. I just hadn't seen it. I gripped her hand. I love you, Aunt Em. She squeezed my fingers back, hard. I know. I laughed shakily, tears leaking. We sat on the braided rug, laughing and crying, holding hands, the portrait of my mother on the floor between us. So she's always wanted the love of her mother because she was always off with her artist friends doing her artist projects, and she realizes that she was loved all along by Aunt Em and Uncle Henry. So we have this mailer bag. It's got the house. And we have this braided rug, but really it's just like a doormat rug. It is just printed on one side. The other side is plain. I actually really like this sort of faux ikat design. I don't mind getting little area rugs in subscription boxes or in book boxes. I actually often will just replace it. It's a woven doormat. It's cotton polyester. It's cute. It says like there's no place like home, like it's a brand. And we have, of course, this beautiful little postcard of Dorothy and Toto. photo. So I thought this was actually a nice gift. It was probably my favorite one out of the 4. Again, we got the Yellow Brick Road, There's No Place Like Home tea towel, this ridiculously large iridescent tumbler, and the cute little wallet. The wallet's not too bad. I could see myself, if I had a yellow kitchen or a bright and airy kitchen, maybe using the tea towel, but it just wasn't my favorite. But I did love the fact that she focused on Ireland, of course, and also just the whole writing workshop experience, because I remember that as well. And I thought I would just read you a passage that struck me. She's in her writing workshop. It's on page 118. It says, they're kind of picking apart her story because she hasn't found her voice yet. It says, "It's implied, isn't it? All that description." She read from my manuscript. She touched his hand to her breast. Her diaphragm expanded with her breath. Shauna managed barely not to roll her eyes. I knew the rules for receiving feedback. Listen, take notes. Don't take it personally, but it felt personal, as though they weren't critiquing my story or characters, but attacking me. I looked at Maeve, her director, hoping for rescue. She seemed to be listening, her expression slightly bored, an executioner waiting for the verdict in a trial. "The problem is, it's not clear how much agency Rose has," another student piped up. "She's obviously an unreliable narrator. Maybe the ambiguity is the point. So which is it? Is she a victim or is she a slut?" They all looked at me. "We can only judge what's on the page," Maeve said, but it didn't feel like that. It felt like they were judging me. So that's what I'll leave you with. So we have some good points. I just feel like the passages that I read for the gifts didn't necessarily get to sort of the heart of the writing, which I did really enjoy, even though it wasn't my favorite Once Upon a Book Club box. But you get a good idea of the whole experience, how they tie it all together, how they create a whole experience for you in a box. And I hope that you enjoyed this unboxing. If you did, please help me out with a thumbs up. Maybe consider this if you're looking for a book reading experience box, and I will see you soon in my next unboxing.